but then my mom died, and because of all the things I had to deal with, I just stopped going. But it's taken, you know, like another. I could see where I'm kind of going back downhill, you know. So it's like a slow build up and a slow, you know, going back the other way. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna have to go back and do that again. Apparently, from the video yesterday, you would think that I should. And what that is like when pollen seeds, it's like a piece, just a little tiny piece of something gets in, that, you know, and it causes a horrible reaction. All right, it's not that I'm gonna, you know, I feel particularly horrible, or it just sounds and looks pretty bad, especially if you're in public. Holy crap. Okay, and so the next thing, this is definitely going to run too long. To cut it in two parts. Maybe you're already in the second part. Here you are. Welcome. That's Manic Mark. Okay. Is a neti pot. I brought it down to show it to you. It's sitting right here. This is the stainless steel version of the neti pot. And basically what it is just a pot with a funnel on it with a little round shape on the end. You could get them in ceramic if you want. And a lot of people hate these things. Think they're gross and won't use them. But you fill it up with soap. Now I'll tell you what I do. Fill it up and you stick it up one nose and let the water rinse around in there and come out the other nostril, out the other nostril, okay? Like that. And you rinse your nasal passageways out. Well, I mentioned that to the allergist and he just looked at me like I was from another planet. What, you don't want my shots? And there's medications too, by the way, that are made for allergies. One of which was prescription when I was doing it. What was the name? Zyklon, yes. Zyklon D. That's not it. But they're out there. That's over the counter now, okay. And not the decongestant version of it, but the other version. And there's Claritin, that was the other one. And that was script when I was doing it. Those never seemed to help me. It was always the decongestants that got me any relief. All right. So, but what I do with this, because when you get a sinus infection, it's bacteria getting up in there and causing you a problem, right? So I'm thinking, you know, you're washing out your sinus passageways. Why can't you do it with an antibacterial solution? Okay, so what I did, everybody uses salt, and usually like a sea salt's better because it's not iodized. It's got like iodine in it, like table salt does. Apparently, I've read a few resources that they don't like that, and some want you to use distilled water. Why? Because city water, you know, may have bacteria. I did that for a while and gave up on it. But what I do is I just take a pinch of sea salt, put it in there. Warm water, I just turn tap on to however hot the water will get, put it in there, sea salt. And I use tea tree oil. Tea tree oil is a wonderful, natural, everybody should have some in their medicine cabinet. It's an antibacterial. Like when you shave and you get little bumps and stuff like that, don't worry about it. And it'll never happen again. Just rub a little tea tree oil on there after you shave, and you'll be good to go. So I've got bottles with droppers, and I just made this up, folks. I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm fine. Look at me. No ill effects, okay? So I put the drops in, about 2, and I use Golden Seal, which is another antibacterial, a couple drops in there, and then Nano Silver. Now, I could be just wasting my money on everything, maybe the tea tree oil, I have no idea. Nano Silver is, that's kind of like West Coast California, like screwy, you know, crap probably, but they do use Nano Silver technology. I read it's part of the sales literature, so I'm probably a sucker, but on this, you know, applications in space, they use it to purify things. So it does have antibacterial properties, but I just don't know. Don't want to. They sell, I think, the drink. I wouldn't do that. I just put it through my head so I can touch my brain. What more damage could it do? Okay, so I put that in there, and then but I'm figuring between all 3 of those, you know, various compounds, that the water city water is not going to be horrible, okay, for me. And I do that, and I don't do it all the time. Usually it's one that's high. Well, winter's bad because of the ash from the fireplace, and you'll probably recognize it if you haven't thought about it. Spring and fall, especially when it's wet, high pollen counts are bad. But usually in the middle of the winter for you, you're probably generally okay. And the summertime for me, once I get past you know, spring, I'm fine all summer usually, and I don't have to do this. So, but I want to go back and talk about one other thing that's very helpful. which is nasal spray. Now I'm going to get, doctors just said, oh, that's right. When I went to the nose, throat, and ear guy, and he goes, well, you take a nasal spray? And I said, well, that's how I figured out that I wasn't sleeping. And he goes, well, you're addicted to it, aren't you? And I said, well, I don't think so. And I used to wear a photographer's vest full of stuff, it's like kind of like the man purse. It's a vest you wear. And he said, probably one of those pockets you got nasal spray right now. And I said, well, actually, no, I don't. Because you're addicted to it. And I've never been addicted to it, What happens is when you use it, it constricts, and it sort of expands as it constricts. But there's a rebound effect, so you're taking a hole that's small and making it bigger, but then when it wears off, it's going to get even smaller, right? That's what makes it addictive, because then you want to breathe again, so you use more of it. The 4-hour stuff is crap. Don't touch it. Get the 12-hour stuff. It has to say 12-hour on the bottle. Because for me, it literally does, in fact, last 12 hours. It's amazing. It lasts 12 hours. And you usually just be aware that you're just not going to do it all the time, and maybe when you go to bed. But I've never felt compelled, except when I have the really serious, and I want to sleep, to use it. It's, doing any, I don't feel addicted to it. And I may, I talked to another doctor I know, and he says it changes the nasal. I don't know if it's permanent or not, but I've been using it for quite some time. And what are you going to do? That's the thing. You got to breathe, right? And you got to get some sleep now and then, so I don't have any problem with it. But don't, this is a disclaimer, if it's addictive, and I could stop doing crack at any time now too, and never mind. So I'm addicted, like, oh yeah, I could stop doing YouTube. I could stop doing nasal spray like I could stop doing this.